What is up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is now 2 days and 4 weeks out for my show. What the hell, time is flying. The last time I did a check-in with you guys was 6 weeks out. So I believe in the recap, if I can remember, I was about 5 kilos from start weight, sitting around 65, everything going really smoothly. And pretty much the last couple of weeks have pretty much been the same. However, I am about another kilo down now. So I am around 6 kilos down from starting weight. More or less everything is going really well. So last week I drove to Brisbane to see my coach Melissa. She lives in Brisbane, and we did a posing session together. We finalized my routine. We finalized my quarter turn poses. So now it's literally just down to repeat over and over again. But not gonna lie, I am starting to get a little bit nervous now that we are so close. So if you've been up to date with my Instagram stories, you probably would have seen I have had a little chat around how I generally have been feeling like this prep has been going so well. I'm feeling really positive. I'm feeling like physically great, as in like, yes, I'm depleted, I'm in a deficit, but I just feel really focused and I feel really quite happy sticking to my deficit. No real struggles with my diet. Calories are exactly the same. They literally haven't budged for weeks and weeks now. I'm just still dropping consistently on that amount of calories. So yeah, things are going pretty well. But there has been one thing that has been on my mind the last 4 or 5 days. That has been making me feel a little bit uneasy and a little less positive than I have been throughout this journey so far. Basically this week, coming into my period, I'm 1 day out from my period now, but basically this week the change in my body from my hormones has really kind of slapped me in the face a little bit, because last week I was feeling so lean, so tight, and then obviously any female can relate, that week leading into your period, generally the most common symptoms will be bloating, but then also that water retention, and that is where you see the scale bump up. So I was sitting around 64 kilos. The scale had bumped up about 700 grams overnight, and I knew straight away like that was just period hormones literally kicking in, because physically I knew I was actually getting leaner. I could kind of feel it, but I could see that it was being masked with a bit of water retention. So basically my weight has been stable at that for like the last 4 to 5 days. I'm used to this. I know that as soon as my period comes, it is literally just gonna come off straight away, and I'll be able to actually see the progress that I've made this week as well in the deficit. So I'm not so much worried about that. But of course, as you guys know, I'm 1 day out from my period now, and I'm 4 weeks and 2 days out from show. And you know what that means? It means that my peak week is basically going to be leading into my period. So I was taking some photos in the gym the other day and I was feeling pretty crappy, and I compared them to a week prior. I'll pop them up in here so that you can actually see the difference. Now I sent them to my coach, kind of freaking out, kind of been like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? This is how I'm going to look the week of comp. This is how I could look the day of comp. And yeah, the lighting in the photo is different. There could be a couple of other little sort of things that play into the difference between the photos. But fact is that it's definitely playing on my mind that, you know, it's something that I can't control, being on a natural cycle. I'm not on the pill or anything. So it's a very real thing that leading into stage day or on stage day, I could be going through pre-period sort of symptoms. As my coach is saying, really cannot stress over it, because it's something that you just can't control. And hey, it might not even be so bad, you just don't know. But I guess deep down, part of me is like, if I'm putting in so much effort, I'm putting in 100% in executing everything so perfectly, to go into comp day and feel like I don't look physically on point perfectly how I want to look, how I want to come in, is going to really, really annoy me, especially when it's out of my control and just something that we have to go through as females, right? So that is something that's definitely been playing on my mind the last couple of days, and I wanted to get that out there and share that with you guys. and then just kind of like move forward, get on, and just not give it any more energy or attention and just take it as it comes. So I'm really, really hoping that my period comes a couple days before comp day, because as each of you will probably understand, usually once it comes, that is when your body starts to level out again and the water retention starts to drop away. So if I can get to stage and have my period during comp, totally okay with that. I will literally be fine if I have cramps, if I'm in pain. I don't care about any of that. I just want to be able to show up looking my best on the day. Anyway, it's out of my control. So this week I have been feeling a little uneasy about it, but you know, we just gotta keep going, stay focused, and that is it. I'm gonna not think about it from now moving forward, and I'm just gonna get on with it and continue giving my best and hoping for the best on comp week, basically. Anyway guys, let's get stuck into the Q&A. So first question is, why do you compete in WBFF and not a natural organization? Why compete with others who take performance enhancers? Good question. Short answer is because it doesn't affect me at all whatsoever. I am literally a pro athlete and I'm a bikini athlete, and you don't need to take performance enhancers to have a world-class WBFF bikini body. So in terms of that, like if other girls on the stage were taking enhancers to get to where they were, maybe if they were really young and they were trying to speed their progress up, because let's be honest, as a natural athlete, the issue is time. It takes years to build that level of muscle, to get that muscle maturity, to get that shape. The only reason that I could think that someone would want to use it in a WBFF bikini category is if they were trying to get to the top, get to a pro level in a very, very short amount of time. I've been training for like 10 years. So for me, it is not about stacking on more muscle. It's about redefining and refining my physique, bringing up certain areas, dropping back on certain areas, refining my posing, and refining my overall look and what I bring to the stage. So there is no need for it personally for me, and it doesn't affect me if someone else is taking it. I will also mention that WBFF and IFBB are the two biggest organizations that are world renowned. There's no comparison to these two organizations to any of the obviously natural organizations that they have. So it just does not compare in terms of competition size, in terms of the level of athletes that are on the stage, in terms of the whole experience. And I've done like INBA in my first show. I've done A and B like years ago. It honestly does not compare. So definitely is not something that I, even would bother or think about twice. And just because it's untested does not necessarily mean that everyone that does it is taking performance enhancing drugs. There are world-class fitness athletes with WBFF who are natural athletes. Is everyone natural in the fitness category and obviously physique? No, probably not, but there are definitely world-class natural physiques on the WBFF stage. So yeah, IFBB is a little bit of a different story. It's a very different shape. It's a very different organization. They're looking for different things. It's a very, I would say, strict criteria that they are looking for in bikini girls. And this is just my personal opinion, but lately they really have been pushing the bikini girls to another level of leanness, which is probably one of the reasons that I wouldn't want to go into IFB bikini. I just don't think that getting that lean naturally is even possible to do for some people. The other thing is the shape is very different. They're definitely looking for round shoulders, broad up the top, big glutes and legs, but with WBFF, they're more looking around your overall package. So for me, I personally love my upper body shape how it is, and it's not something that I want to grow at this point in time. So I think in taking that into consideration, definitely WBFF is my chosen organization for a couple of reasons. And I may as well answer the next question because it's sort of in line with this one, which is ever done IFBB, why WBFF? Now, IFBB and WBFF are very different in terms of organizations, in terms of the entire experience. Let me tell you, WBFF is an amazing environment and competition and experience to be a part of. They really, really look after their athletes. They really do. And backstage, you know, there's no coaches or anything allowed backstage, which really does bring a sense of community. All the girls are so friendly and we all get together. We all enjoy doing it together as a team. Everyone is just super friendly and super excited for the day. Whereas I have done other competitions where you're kind of backstage, the athletes are just with their coach, they don't talk to anyone. They just keep to themselves. It's a very, very different experience with WBFF. You know, it is, I would say, just another level of fun. Let's not forget the whole difference between bodybuilding IFBB and world beauty, fitness, and fashion, which is what WBFF is all about. It's about the overall look, not just your physique and hitting a specific physique criteria. And that's something that I really like because you can bring your own flair to it, you can bring your own posing to it, your own style. There's much more glam in the bikinis, there's much more glam, you know, everywhere. You get to wear a formal dress, the fitness girls get to wear costumes. It's just another level when it comes to putting on a show, and also the environment and just the whole community of WBFF itself. So that would be definitely the reason why I love doing it. As some of you would know, I have grown up as a dancer, as a performer. So for me, being back on the stage, being able to create my own routines, being able to practice and being able to add my own flair to my costumes, the designs, all of that is very exciting for me, and that's part of what I love about WBFF. Third question, how do you get up and go, stick to the program when you have days when you just don't want to? I actually had a chat about this in my Instagram story last week, and I was just saying to myself, saying to everyone on my story about how this prep has really, really been the best prep I've ever done. And it is all down to what I think is mindset, my strength in my mindset and focusing on my self-dialogue. So it has almost become a little game for myself in which the days that I've really struggled and I've really woken up like this, or I don't want to do what I'm supposed to do, I really do practice catching that self-dialogue and trying to literally flip it on its head and do the exact opposite, and treating it as an opportunity to actually grow and get stronger and get better at what I do, because those are the times that do make you stronger and they do make you better at what you do, when you push past the moments that really are the toughest. And the other thing that I said was, training discipline is like training a muscle. The more that you do it, the easier it gets. So when you do really push past these moments and you prove to yourself that you can do it, you can literally get yourself out of bed, you can get yourself to the gym, you can push yourself for those last 5 reps, you can do that last 10 minutes of the cardio and not give up. When you prove to yourself time and time again, it gets easier, because the next time that you get up and you get into this situation and you feel the same, and you will, because it's normal to feel that way sometimes, you know, you're not always motivated every single second of the day. And that can be for a number of things. But the more times that you do it, the more times you prove to yourself that you can, the easier that it gets. I honestly love the challenge. I love the journey. I love competing. So for me, being able to push past these challenges physically and mentally, that's why, a big part of why I do competitions and why I compete. Next question. Do you start small and build up with comp pro? I'm assuming it means comp prep, or go straight into it. That's a great question. So I basically went from eating 2,400-ish calories straight into, I literally went down, I think, in like 2 increments. I cut like at least about 400 calories overnight, and then from that I went straight down into like a pretty big deficit to where I'm at now, which is just under 1600 calories a day. So yeah, I pretty much went straight into it, no time to waste. Physically and mentally it can be harder that way because it does take a little bit of time to adapt, but also you don't really want to waste any time. Once you're in cut mode, you want to be getting those results because we're on a timeline, right? So pretty much go from build phase straight into my cut phase at 16 weeks out, and we are going. And it's also a bit of a mental shift as well. I think everyone might be different, and it depends what the journey is, what the goal is, what the time frame is. I can definitely appreciate that in some instances easing into things is a better way to go about it and a better way to diet. But for me and comp prep, it is literally like, it's go time, 16 weeks, we're on cut down now, and it's time to literally give it your all and put in the 1%ers. So yeah, we went pretty much straight into a deficit. I didn't go from like 2,400 straight down to like 1,500 and I think it's 90 or 80 that I'm on. I did go into 2 increments from what I recall. So aside from that, there are a couple of little things that do tighten up as we go along. You know, I might have a little bit more flexibility in terms of a bit more variety in my food, maybe a couple more processed type foods in that 16 to 8 week bracket, like bread and, you know, a couple meals out that are roughly tracked. Once I hit the 8 week mark, then we tighten up even more. And then again, at like 4 weeks out to stage, literally that is when I will really tighten up the most in terms of nutrition, in terms of making sure that I'm getting the exact macros, no eating out, no estimating, and definitely all whole foods. I will say though, we all have this amazing ability to adapt. So over time, it does actually get easier. And I was just having this conversation with Melissa yesterday, saying that honestly, am I even in a deficit anymore? Because I'm feeling comfortable. Like I'm so used to eating the amount of food that I eat per day now. It's not enough. I am definitely in a deficit. My body definitely does get fatigued, but mentally and more or less physically, I have adapted to it in a sense that it's not really a struggle anymore. I look forward to my meals. I really love my meals. I love the food that I'm eating. I'm not really craving or wanting to eat, you know, particular things as such. I am definitely just kind of enjoying what I've got. So in that sense, I've definitely adapted to the lifestyle of prep, because if I look back in, you know, 3 or 4 months ago to what I was eating and the amount of flexibility that I had with my food and my training, there is definitely a big difference between, yeah, nutrition and just overall compliance. And so yeah, I think we have the amazing ability to adapt over time, and so it does get easier, I think. Somebody asked me what my bikini color is, but you guys know I am not going to disclose that information until show day. Going to keep that a surprise. I will tell you that I am wearing 2 colors that I probably wouldn't have chosen normally for both my bikini and my formal gown, but I do love them. So let's hope that they look amazing on the stage under the lights. Next question. Are you scared of not placing top 3 at all? Are you competitive? Good question. I've actually been thinking more about this lately because we are getting closer to show, and I'll be honest with you, my goal is to definitely be in that top 5. If I get a top 3 placing, I will be over the moon. I will be extremely happy because I'm standing in a lineup of the world's best bikini WBFF athletes. The pro lineup in Australia is extremely competitive. Every single one of those girls are a 12 out of 10. They have incredible physiques. They are well trained. They are conditioned. They are overall beautiful. So it's going to be an incredibly tough show. It's going to be tough for the judges, I think, even to be able to place top placings, because honestly, all of the girls who are going to be on that stage are going to be, you know, 12 out of 10. So for me, I'm going in very open-minded. Yes, I'm competitive. I do want to come away with a top 5 placing. And like I said, if I got top 3, I would be like over the moon. But at the same time, knowing the level of athletes that I am going to be standing up against, if I didn't get a top placing, I wouldn't be annoyed about it. It's just one of those things you're gonna have to see who brings their best on the day, right? So yeah, I'm trying to keep an open mind. Of course, I'm competitive and I'm gonna go in there and give my best. Do I believe that I have what it takes to get a top placing? I absolutely do believe that I can. I'm gonna bring my best package yet, but so is everyone else. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, to answer the question, I'm not scared. I'm quite open-minded as to what, you know, whether I come away with a placing or not. We'll just have to wait and see. Could anyone compete? Yes, anyone could compete physically. Anyone could get on the stage, anyone could do the work, anyone could transform, anyone could get to the stage, of course. Do I think it's suitable for everyone to compete? Definitely not. It definitely takes a certain type of person with certain type of goals, certain type of, well, a history and training and nutrition and exercise and that sort of thing, I guess. But more or less, you know, there's so many factors that go into competing, right? Your lifestyle, your support network, your history, your relationship with training and food and health. All those things definitely need to be taken into consideration as to whether competing is suitable for some people. Let me tell you guys, if someone is trying to use the stage or competition to get in shape, it's a bad idea. More or less, or more often than not, that can sometimes leave people in a very bad position after competition or post-comp. You'll see a lot of people like rebounding or really struggling with trying to gain that sort of maintenance or balance back after competing. So I think it's not a good idea to go into a competition prep if you're doing it just to get yourself in shape. You can get yourself in shape and use other goals that are less extreme than getting on a bodybuilding stage. So in that sense, it's a sport. It is not about health. It's a sport basically. So it's extreme. So I definitely think that anyone could do it, but not everyone should do it. Why do I do it? It seems like a sacrifice just for one day. Well, it's not just one day. I guess it is the entire journey. It is the off season. It is all the hard work, the hours, the sweat, the pain that you put in, the going through the discomfort of eating food and gaining weight as well. Like for me, last year I got to 73 kilos, and I don't want to trigger anyone with numbers obviously, but for me that is the heaviest weight I've ever been in my life, and it was extremely uncomfortable. But you know, it's about the whole journey. And it's about what you've got to go through to get to stage. The stage is like the icing on top of the cake, right? There is so much adrenaline and fun, and it's just an amazing experience on the day. But you know, the journey is where it's at, and the journey is where you learn so much about yourself. And yeah, I personally do compete because I love the challenge. I like putting myself into that kind of focused mindset. And as I mentioned, I am an ex-performer, ex-dancer, and it's something that I miss. Like I love to get up and glam myself and be able to perform a routine and do all that. It's really fun, takes me back to my dance days of being on the stage. So for me, yeah, it's a little bit of everything, but it's definitely not just about the day, and more so about the whole journey. Would you ever do the level up from bikini one day? So they now have wellness, which is technically between bikini and fitness, but it's just a different physique altogether. So wellness girls do have a quite thick lower body and can hold a little bit more muscle in their upper body. But I definitely wouldn't suit that because I'm long and lanky, and I find it hard as it is to get those curves out to be a bikini model. So would I ever level up to fitness? It's a different physique altogether. I could push into fitness. I would need to get leaner and I would need to start training my upper body again. Honestly, I think with my body shape and type, I would suit fitness better because I am more athletic build. For me to try and get that sort of curve and shape to fit into the bikini class is harder, but it's just more to the fact that I guess I love my body the way it is now, and for me to go into fitness would be another level of building and muscle gain. So I'm not prepared to sort of do that from a personal point of view. So I think at this point, I probably won't, but I'll never say never. Maybe I will one day, I'm not sure. We'll see how I go. The other thing about fitness that potentially worries me is the level of conditioning that you need to get into to get to stage. It is a lot leaner than bikini. As a natural athlete, it would be a lot harder. I don't know that I could get to that level of conditioning. Maybe I could, maybe I couldn't, I'm not sure, but I know it would be damn hard. So yeah, I don't know. We will park that for now. So guys, that is all of the relevant questions. I did get some other weird questions in there, which I'm just not going to bother answering. But I hope you guys enjoyed our little catch up today. I wanted to keep you up to date with what is happening, the real and the raw, realistic stuff that's going on in my mind, to be honest, and not just the typical like stats of where I'm at. So anyway, 4 weeks out, I will catch up with you guys maybe in another 2 weeks when we're a couple weeks out from show, and we'll see where we're at. Thanks for coming along for the ride, guys, and I hope you're enjoying these updates.